What's up, everyone? It's the Lemesis, your nemesis, but you can call me Lem. Welcome to Just Another Cheesehead podcast. We are here to do a really cool review of a video of the QB School. Before we get started, hey, like and subscribe if you're watching me on YouTube. If you're following me on Twitch, hit me up with a follow. Or if you're watching me on Twitch, hit me up with a follow. I greatly appreciate it. Here's a take a look at my channel. Today, we are going to be going to the QB School. Mr. JT O'Sullivan, we want to thank you. He's given us permission to go over his videos. I figured we'd, for the most part, go over only the Green Bay Packer related ones. If there's anything else there that, that's more informative or, more interesting that we can review that has anything to do with the Packers, we can do that as well. He is a quarterback in the NFL. He played for like 11 teams. I want you guys to go check out his channel. You can go to youtube.com/@theqbschool. He played for like 11 years. I'm pretty sure he was a backup for most of those years, but what was really cool was he was on the Green Bay Packers, right? That's pretty cool. So I went into a little bit of his history. Cool guy. He's got a great channel. And again, we thank him for giving us permission to review his video. He's got 289,000 subscribers, about 1.3 thousand videos on there, so check it out. But he's given us, again, permission to check out his videos and review them on YouTube. Again, hit him up. He's got a Patreon. I know the beginning of his video he's going to give a little shout-out, so we'll let that run because we want to give a spotlight to his channel. But I want everyone to know today that with this podcast episode that I'm not biased. Now, I'm going to be watching this video live the same way you've been watching it. I had some technical difficulties, so I probably watched like the first 2-3 minutes of the video. And when I was streaming, it wasn't it wasn't live. But we don't have those technical difficulties now. So we're going to, for the most part, besides like the first 3 minutes of the video, 3 to 5 minutes, everything will be fresh and new. We got roughly 36 minutes. So I'm going to start and stop, talk as we go through this video, give you my thoughts, and we'll see. Maybe I agree with Mr. O'Sullivan. Maybe I disagree with Mr. O'Sullivan. I hope I agree with him for the most part. That's me showing you, I guess, my bias. But I just want to make you guys know that I'm not an expert. I'm just another cheesehead, right? The football knowledge I have is no different than you watching the game and maybe playing some Madden. So that's about it. So, again, check him out, Mr. JT O'Sullivan, ex-NFL quarterback. I am not biased. Let's see what an expert has to say. He's going to go over the performance of Jordan Love in Week 5. Let's get it started.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the QB School. I am JT O'Sullivan. Today, Jordan Love, tough L versus the Raiders. We are diving in deep. Let's get it going. Welcome to the QB School.
I just want to say that was a really cool intro.
Video, a quick reminder about the Quarterback School Patreon community. This group is the foundation, the bedrock of this channel. Not only is it a great, cheap way to support the channel, but you get even more Quarterback School content. So if you dig the YouTube channel, you will love the Quarterback School Patreon community. I'm really trying to create the environment of what it's like in an NFL quarterback room. So all sorts of nuance, detail about not only the quarterback position, but offensive and defensive football. If you're interested, hop over to the Quarterback School Patreon community. The link is in the video description.
All right, getting a little feedback there.
I appreciate your support. As for this video, let's get into it. Jordan Love, Week 5, tough L for the Packers. Right here, 3rd and 3. This looks like he's going to start up top with his read. It's not there. Panic and chuck something late down the middle of the field.
See, when I hear the word panic, that's a little concerning, right? I saw panic. He saw panic. I mean, we saw panic throughout the entire game, the way that he was throwing the ball. Now, let's be real. I mean, Max Crosby got a lot of pressure on him, but he didn't get that many sacks. So it's not like he was really having a bad time back there, in my opinion. In my opinion, I've seen worse. The defense played well enough to keep us in the game. They weren't offensively going down the field and wrecking us left and right. So Man, the fact that he's seeing panic and just throwing the ball up like that, chucking it, and again, we've seen a ton of plays like that, is really concerning.
That very easily could have been an interception. What I would classify as a turnover-worthy play, perhaps you would classify it as interceptable. Regardless, it's muddy, it's messy versus drop 8, and it's basically what I would classify as a panic chuck. Now, you combine that with what I would say is poor spacing up top. Look at the route distribution up top. That can't be right. Okay, so I would guess that one or both of the players up top, most likely one, didn't do the correct route. So if this is the route and we're going to come up here and try to go quick out, if it's supposed to be quick out, it's probably supposed to be stick. Okay, if it's supposed to be flat here by the tight end, if he's supposed to be tight end, is to the flat, then it's probably supposed to be stick here. So someone's in the wrong.
So, that's common. Aaron Rodgers last year had a lot of problems with the team, the rookie guys. That was one thing that I remember seeing or indirectly hearing with Matt LaFleur's press conference, that the way I interpreted his statement was like, the players we have are just dumb. Right? Like that's the vibe I'm getting. I'm not trying to disrespect these men in any way, but let's not act like football is like really, really easy. It's not easy. And I got the vibe that these guys aren't picking up the playbook. He made a comment about like, hey, we have this big playbook and it's filled with all these, audibles, etc. And I'm paraphrasing. And then he just was like, so what good does it do to have this big old playbook with all these audibles and play actions, etc., if the guys aren't executing it out on the field? And that's the vibe that I got, that like we have these players out there. They're all rookie. They're all young. They're all raw. I don't know how talented we can really say they are, but they're just not getting the playbook, which translates to like they're not either, maybe they need more time. That's probably the nicest thing to say. Or maybe they're not smart enough to know. I have no idea. But, I mean, we're seeing this back-to-back 2 years in a row. I know there's newer rookies on the team, but, I mean, I watch a lot of football. I don't really hear a lot of this all the time. For some reason, I hear a lot of this coming from the Green Bay Packers. I don't hear this coming from other teams where, it's like the guys are just incompetent or they don't know or they missed the play. I don't hear that a ton, but for some reason that seems to be the biggest excuse from the Green Bay Packers. Now, the argument could be, oh, well, they're the youngest team in the NFL. Sure. Yeah, but let's not act like we didn't see young talent go out there and dominate and play. Now, I also think this could be a knock towards someone like Matt LaFleur, because let's say they represent the average rookie that's in the NFL. What is Matt LaFleur doing with his scheme that's making it so complicated that this seems to be like a blip on the radar, something that we normally don't see? Like, are you teaching an extremely complicated system to a group of men who probably shouldn't run a system like this until they're 3, 4, 5 years into the system? Maybe that's why Matt LaFleur is, to me, not really a good head coach, because he might have a good system, but that only does well with a lot of veterans. And we saw that with Nathaniel Hackett and the first 2 or 3 years. Maybe that's why we saw such great success. How much of that was Aaron Rodgers? How much of that was Nathaniel Hackett? How much of that was Matt LaFleur? Mike McCarthy says that, not Mike McCarthy, Mark Murphy, he says we're finally seeing Matt LaFleur's offense. So I tend to think maybe that was maybe 10%, 20%. So again, it's just, what are you doing, LaFleur? Why are you running plays and schemes that are so complicated that it feels like this is the first time I've ever seen a team really hunker down into the excuse of blaming the rookies, saying to me the rookies implying that the rookies may not be smart enough to be able to figure out your scheme. Maybe there's nothing wrong with the rookies. Maybe there's something wrong with your scheme. Maybe you need to baby step this thing in. I mean, it's kind of like when we went to school and you had that professor who he knew how to teach chemistry, and you had these high-level professors who would try to teach you chemistry, and you're like, bro, I don't know what you're talking about. But then when you had that one professor who just broke it down bit by bit, you're able to compute and understand the information, and you did well. I know I had that experience growing up when I went to college. So there was just some professors who were better at their job and some weren't. So to me, that's not necessarily a player problem. It could be a teacher. I'm just saying.
Okay, then you combine that with what looks like almost like a clear and an in down here to the bottom. Now, because it's drop 8 and he's got all sorts of time, this in is probably there. Now, again, very easy for me, comfortable in my house, nice chair, marker, clicker, to say, yeah, just sit back there and throw the in to the backside because you've got all day. Much more difficult in the pocket. So the first part is just acknowledging the fact the spacing up top, that ain't it. Okay. Now it's 3rd and 3. No panic. There's no reason to chuck that ball late down the middle like that. I see what he sees as far as the slot running with what is essentially the Mike linebacker type. Now, if you throw a line drive right at him, back shoulder, okay. But late like this and high and like a grenade, very easily could have been picked. And again,
yeah, I mean, I see that. And the worst part is, look, who's he throwing it to? Where is it? Like, there's honestly, the check down at the top of the screen is probably the only guy who's really open on this play. And it's just like, I remember seeing him chuck this down the field, and I know that the view he has is much wider, but I remember being like, who's open? Because when the ball was thrown, it was like, this guy was supposed to be where, maybe he wasn't in the right position, like, O'Sullivan was hinting at. But, man, he just threw this down the field, and it didn't make any sense to me either. That's really concerning earlier in the game. And, he's supposed to be poised. And when you start having panic, man, things don't go well if you don't keep your composure.
And you can see the in to the bottom as it comes open. So just get through the read. No, up top, there's a mistake, mental error. Down here to the bottom, in. No, don't like it. Get it to the check down to the bottom. Punting after a 3rd down completion is okay. And the back probably gets a 1st down if you throw it to the check down. Make somebody miss, collision somebody, 1st down. Again, easy for me to see, easy for us to see, days later on the film. But you can see here the combination of someone ran the wrong route, and we panic chuck a ball late down the middle. Not good enough. Next one here, a really nice run from Jordan Love. This comes off what I'm going to call a naked keeper to his left. I like the way that they attack the edge here as well, going away from Crosby. Love that as well. Jordan Love showing off some speed, some running skills right there. Almost takes that thing even farther, gets a little heel.
Now, I mean, when you see plays like this, you might get excited, but as a fan, I do not. I remember I don't really even remember Favre doing that a couple times in his career, not a ton. But Aaron did this a lot earlier in his career, and because he did this, I think they ran a lot of QB spy on him a lot more than probably most quarterbacks. And because he did that, especially during the time he was playing, and I do think that led to a lot of his injuries that he had, some season-ending injuries that he had, or injuries that he played throughout the entire year that plagued the way he played. So, to me, seeing Jordan Love run the ball is not like a jump for joy kind of experience, because if he is good, we're like, bro, get down to the ground. Nobody wants to see you as a threat running around, because now you get hit, you're donezo, right? So we saw Aaron Rodgers taking on his collarbone behind the line of scrimmage. He's not dynamic. He's not running dynamically like Colin Kaepernick, right? When Colin Kaepernick would run, I felt like that dude was running like he was a deer. Like, I mean, nobody could touch this guy, and he got open down the field. I mean, he's not Lamar Jackson. He's not that kind of an athlete. So it's like, bro, let's just stick with staying in the pocket. It just seems to be the best way to play the sport. I mean, I'm surprised someone like Lamar Jackson hasn't been injured yet. Again, I'm not speaking on trying to get the man injured. It's just when you run like that and you're that thin and that nimble, I mean, unfortunately, things happen and you can get caught. And, man, These injuries in the NFL are brutal. These guys are strong. These guys are fast. It's not good. So for me, I'm out. Like, I'm not cool with the running quarterback just simply because it's not like you're not going to be able to play for 15, 20 years. And if you do, you're an anomaly. So, the odds are, just think about how many players we had on our team in the NFL not too long ago, like 10 years ago. You would think that like a guy could play for at least 10 years or 13 years, but no, like the NFL life is really short. These guys get tore up and they gone. So protect yourself, Jordan Love, whether you are the future quarterback or you're a backup on another team, whatever it may be, protect yourself, man.
Heel click to be able to get taken down, but that's a huge chunk. Watch the motion come back and cut the edge, chop, or try to cut the edge. But then this ability to get downhill, make somebody miss, and just barely gets his heel clicked right there. That's a thing of beauty. Now, scheme-wise, so what I'm saying here is that I really like the way that we're being a little bit unique as far as how we're attacking this edge player. So we're going to motion, and then we're going to come back and try to chop this edge player. So we protect ourselves when we come out here to the edge. We don't have somebody in our face. That is paired with, we've seen a lot of teams this year do this where the person who shows up in the flat is coming from the other side. So you really have to come right down the line, like down the heels. Now, what does that do? That exposes you potentially to being rerouted or jacked here. So if anybody touches you or jacks you, it's going to jack with the timing of that. That's why in the past, for so long, we've seen that hide or sneak flat coming from.
My concern is hopefully this was not a designed run play for him, right? We don't want to see more of that. That's not really all that good, but we'll continue to listen. It's just, I hate to see that kind of thing. To me, I'm not a fan of college football. That's why I don't watch it. And I would hate to see that come into the NFL. I have some very controversial opinions about that I'll keep to myself at the moment, but I do feel like the NFL is slowly but surely embracing more of the college style of football. And I know what Deion Sanders is doing, which is great. I've watched a little more college football because of Deion Sanders, just simply because he's a great player and he's bringing a lot of buzz to the team over there in Colorado. But the game of football in the NFL is far different. I'd like for it to stay that way. I'd like to be able to see professionals play the game and do it at a professional level and not bring that backyard school football to the NFL, because to me it makes it boring. I don't really want to see 70 points from the Miami Dolphins on a regular basis. Defensive schemes, players being able to hawk after the ball. A lot of these penalties can kind of get a little boring, but you got to be balanced. You can't allow the defense to have no ability to stop the play, because then why do we even have the defensive team out there? So, we'll keep that for another day.
Behind the line of scrimmage, because no one will usually hit you from there. Then that is combined with the over. Both the flat and the over aren't there. I think it's with a comeback too. Not there, not there. Jordan Love makes a really good decision, a clean decision. Get out, get some positive yardage, and he shows off his athleticism. So again, watch that flat from the bottom, from the inline tight end. Right there, that collision. Over's not there. Get vertical. And whoo! Right, he might click his own feet, to be honest with you. That could have been a big-time run out the back door right there. That's a hell of a job. I really like moving the launch point. I love doing that away from 98 as well. Again, don't let that guy wreck the game. Get downhill. Go be yourself. Be athletic. It's a nice addition to this offense right there. Next one here, 3rd and 11. Okay, now
that was a good play, but I don't want to see you running. I want to see you throwing it, right? So I acknowledge it was a good play. Sounded like a good play. It wasn't designed to be a run. He made the right read, like he said, but I want to see him throw the ball. So far, not so good in my opinion.
There's no good play for 3rd and 11. That's the first part. We can see them looking like they're getting into whatever play that they want. This to me is a spear or arrow screen to the back. I love the fact that it's out of quads. This formation looks like what a lot of teams in the league do with double chip, where they chip the ends. The problem here is that the back runs into Crosby. So this play has got a chance. 3rd and 11, there's no good play. There really is. I want to make sure I emphasize that. There is no good play. You might convert them every once in a while, but you're in a tough spot. So this play for me is this right here, quads, 4 eligibles to this side. He's going to run a flat, and then these 3 guys are all going to block. So it's just a math thing. Are there 3 defenders out there? Can we block them? Does it give us a chance to get 11 yards better than like ripping a slant or an in or an out or a comeback? It also gets the ball out of your hands quickly, so you don't have to deal with this guy wrecking the game. Okay, but the problem is this formation looks like double chip.
See, when I see a play like this, it's like, look how far the defensive lineman is lining up. Like, if this is Crosby right here near the top of the screen, I'm audibling out, right? Now, again, like he says a lot of times, we're sitting back here and, we're sitting on our couches or I'm in my chair. I mean, I'm audibling out of this. Why are they lined up so wide? So immediately what I'm thinking is, if this is the design play, if he's supposed to block here, he's supposed to block here. Like, clearly this guy's supposed to block this guy. So that means he's going to run into Crosby. So I'm like, I'm going to run an audible, right? I'm going to, like, the audible I run, like, if I'm playing Madden, is I'm putting him on a streak route. I'm going to try to hit him in the seams, and I'm going to try to pull this guy away, and then I'm going to run him on like a crosser behind. So hopefully if he either comes in or he goes forward, it might pull him, and then I'm running him on the inside as well. So I'm going to run him on a crosser as well. So hopefully he gets to the crosser sooner, and then this guy, because he's further back, will get there later. So I'm assuming this guy's wide open. So now that's just me, like I'm playing Madden with real people on a screen. But that would be something that I would do, because I'm very big mentally on spacing. Because I want to see space on the field. I want to make sure that, like, if I'm going to throw this ball, because I'm playing from my Madden camera angle, that I have enough spacing in between my defenders, the defenders of the opposing team, and my offensive weapons, that they have enough speed and space to catch the ball. And then it gives me the ability to throw in open areas. And then, of course, if they're running a zone, whatever it may be, that's different, right? Because it could be completely disguised as a totally different play. But that's what I would see as well. So it makes sense to hear him say he ran into Crosby, because look how wide he's positioned on the line.
What a lot of teams will do, they'll put these guys here, they will chip the ends and then get into a check down. Chip the ends and get into the check down. Well, he knows this. The back has to know this as well, and he has to be ready to avoid this. So you can't get chipped here. You got to go. This is a speed thing. You got to get out there. And because he's in an 11 technique there, inside joke, you're welcome for the one person who gets that, but they're going to run into each other. And that collision, just that lack of detail in the execution, jacks this play. Because do the math up top. They're just rolling to 3 cloud up top. We've got 3 over 3. We're going to have a chance there, right? The guys who are going to make that tackle are going to be inside the hash right there. So we've got a great opportunity, but we can't get out. Crosby wrecks it by accident right there, and we can't even hook it up with a completion. So,
see, but in my opinion, even seeing that mistake, Jordan Love could have put the ball in a different spot, right? I mean, I know Jordan was probably trying to throw it where he was, but I mean, there was no need for him to panic. Like, if we go back, I'm not seeing any pressure. Let's mute for a second. Press play. Stop. Like, he's not under a lot of pressure. There's not a lot going on right there. So I don't understand. Like, he's got a good 2-3 yards around him with no one there. To me, throw the ball right on the guy. You got 3 guys right here. So, yeah, he starts a little further back behind the line of scrimmage. He probably should be up here, but you don't throw it to the guy. You throw it where he has to turn, and do this amazing acrobatic catch while he's going to his right. It doesn't really make sense. So to me, that's just like, improvise on the fly, right? See where the guy is, throw it directly to him, give him a chance. What he's wanting to do is he's wanting to go to his left. I can tell with his body language. He wants to catch it, go to his left, and then go up the seams. Now, there's a good chance if they get their blocks, since there's 3-on-2, they'll eventually be 3-on-3. Maybe he squeezes through and this turns into a 15, 20-yard run, and then number one catches up. Who knows? I don't know what kind of speed he's got. But I don't know. It just seems a little bit off here.
It by accident right there, and we can't even hook it up with a completion. So,
I mean, you look at that NFL speed, I immediately was wrong. I was like, you know what? You saw how quickly he covered that ground. He catches that ball, he might go down and I think he's taking a loss. Because, I mean, they covered that distance quick. They covered that quick.
It's one of those things for me. Certainly a conservative call. I don't dislike the call. I dislike the execution. And it looks like the back is surprised. Like, what? He hit me? Yeah, he expects to get chipped when you line up like this. Tough. Rough one. This next one is just a brutal interception. This looks like play action drift post down here to the number 2. And it really looks like Jordan Love just doesn't see anybody on the field. I mean, I think multiple people probably picked this off, which is never a great thing to say. He certainly doesn't see 41 because he throws it right to his face. I mean, that's as bad of a pick as you'll see. And you hope that 88.
I mean, he's laughing. I'm laughing. Bro, I don't know what's going on, man. When you start seeing plays like this, he's scared. And you can't be scared behind the field. Behind the line of scrimmage, so behind the offensive line. You can't be a scared quarterback. You make mistakes that way. I don't know. And then, I don't know if he can handle the pressure. Now, this might be a little nitpicky, but I watched his press conference. I've watched a few of his press conferences. He's a rookie. He's young. I get it. I can't expect this guy to be able to get up there and give a full-blown speech like he's been doing it. He's not Barack Obama, but I heard a lot of ums. And I don't know. If he can't handle that kind of pressure, and I'm over here thinking about my ums, but he can't handle a lot of the pressure, and he's going, if he can't handle that pressure on the podium, to me, playing behind the offensive line with a bunch of grown-ass men coming at you full speed, ready to rock you and knock you off your socks, that's a lot scarier than standing in front of a group of people on a podium and just answering their questions. Especially after the same people being it's the same reporters who sit there in front of you and they ask you questions. You have a relationship with them. At some point, you comprehend what they're trying to say. You respond. The ums stop. So, I don't know. This is not looking good. I think a good gauge of what's going to happen is how he performs after the bye week again. But he already had a bye week, right? We had such a long rest between that Thursday night game. I don't know.
He just blocked his view. But, the other linebacker makes a play on that ball too, right? That looks like one of those throws where you tell the scout team quarterback, hey, throw an interception right here. I want to see what, it looks like for us to convoy block and go get a touchdown. That's bad ball. There is no excuse other than the fact that I just didn't see it, and didn't see it doesn't work very often in the league. Certainly not for very long. Again, lots of teams run iterations of what I'm going to classify this.
Now, I'm not saying these things. Mr. O'Sullivan is saying these things. I'm assuming that the first few videos that he did of Jordan Love were very different than this, right? So we're going to definitely, I want to play more close attention because I do think starting from week 5 on, we'll get a better gauge of how well Jordan Love is going to perform in the NFL. So hopefully he'll continually do more videos like this. We can take the time to go through them. And man, I think this is more accurate footage of what he can be like, because you want to be able to see him perform under pressure, right? What's one of the things you heard a lot of when we watched Aaron Rodgers and Favre play is they would say, because coaches would be like, all right, let's blitz him. Let's see how he handles the blitz. All right, let's play zone. Let's play cover 2 and get pressure on him, right? And then if he performed really well, what would they say? Oh, man, you're not supposed to blitz Aaron Rodgers because he performs really well. When you blitz the guy, he's going to kill you and eat you up all day. That's the typical response, right? So what I think's happening now is Jordan Love's going through the tests. And it's like, if you can't, let's just assume, right? I don't have all the schemes and defensive things written out, but let's say there's like 7 or 10 schemes that coaches on the defensive side of the ball will kind of write up to stop a QB. They probably go through them one by one, right? We're going to try number 1, then try number 2, then try number 3. But then, if you get through all 10, then it's like, bro, I don't know what to do, man. We can't stop this guy. He knows all 10 of them, which makes him now a great quarterback, right? Which is the Tom Brady's of the world, which is the Aaron Rodgers of the world, which were the Peyton Mannings of the world, and then you were like, wow, which are the Patrick Mahomes of the world? But you're not getting that with Jordan Love. It looks like he's on scheme number 2. And they're throwing it at him. They're like, man, this kid can't handle it. Well, let's keep throwing it at him until he can handle it. But how long can you go through just training on the job? That's the question. I don't know if we're willing to keep doing that. I'm not willing to see that, because we had a okay team. And again, Aaron Rodgers covered up a lot of sins, but my gosh, it doesn't look like we're winning more than 4 or 5 games this season. We're definitely beating the Bears again. But, so that's 3. But, man, there's not many teams left on the schedule. You can make the claims all you want to. The teams that we're playing against might be 1-4, but they put up some decent points against some heavy contending NFL teams. So we're playing, if we play the Chiefs, we do play the Chiefs, but, like Minnesota, even the Broncos, besides that embarrassing loss to the Miami Dolphins, they had some games that were, they potentially could have only 1 loss on the season. So let's not act like the Broncos are just weak and afflicted. Let's not act like the Minnesota Vikings are just weak. Like, we probably beat the Giants and we beat the Bears, but there's not many other teams on our schedule that I think that, are guaranteed victories.
As a drift post, or referred to as a slim, as a whatever. There's the post, and it gives, in my book, a lot of freedom as far as the angle that you can come in here with. But for my money, we're trying to get these guys to step up here, and you have to be able to at least see them. I think that this defender probably gets his hand on it too, and it hits him in the face. It's one of those ones where I watch it a few times and I'm just like, I don't know what he thought he saw. He obviously doesn't see the guy he throws it to in the face. That is a gift to get the ball inside the 10 off that. My goodness. Just nowhere near good enough. And it's really hard to win games at any level, turning it over like this easily. That is a gift. 41 is just Christmas come early. He was getting gifts all night. My goodness. Next one here, another 3rd and 11. Another rough situation to try to get a first down in. Now, this time, I think I'd be a little bit more critical of just, there's no option to get a first down here. And I'm not saying you're going to get a lot of options. We've already talked about how it's a rough spot to be in. But for me, Jordan Love, there's nothing you can do here than throw the check down. Just throw the check down. That's exactly what he does. Punting after a 3rd down completion is okay. On to the next.
So, again, we go back to Matt LaFleur on that one. What are you doing? Do you really know how to coach a young team? It's like Brian Gutekunst might have wanted to have a younger team. Okay. But did you have the right head coach in place that could actually run an NFL organization with a bunch of young players? You got to make smart decisions, guys. These are costly. These are vital. And you're seeing that. I picked us to beat the Raiders. I didn't think we were going to win more than 6 or 7 games this season. And there were teams that I picked us to win to help pad the stats. I thought we would come out at least a 3-win team before the bye, and wow, we have a losing record already. So, and I don't think it's going to get that much better, barring injury from other teams, like the Chiefs and the Broncos and the Vikings that we play coming up. But so far, not so good.
Now, that being said, we can at least be critical and look critically at the concept of what the hell they're asking him to do. This looks like it's almost like a crummy or double move comeback. Takes forever, never going to be there. This looks like some sort of like crosser. Takes forever, never going to be there. This looks like some sort of just like go. I mean, there's no options. What do you want him to do? Now, I'm not saying again that there's a lot of great options, but for instance, what I would want to see is some sort of potentially switch release, some sort of someone at the sticks breaking off, giving us an opportunity for a first down. These are no one's winning here. No one, the timing of this is not anywhere good enough. We've already talked about this formation as well as far as the double chip. So they come up here and you're going to chip the ends. Great. Okay. I'll fine. I love it. Well, you have to chip them, especially if this is the guy we're doing it for. So if we're doing it for this and our eyes are at the ball for some reason, because we don't know the snap count or it's silent, you got to watch it. You can't be late off the ball to give your chip.
See, again, this is why the QB School is such a great channel. You guys really should subscribe. Look how you're getting educated. I mean, my goodness. He's pointing out things that you and I would never know, right? And it's more beautiful insight on the game of football and what we should know, what they should know. And it's just exciting. It's exciting to hear stuff like this. So, great stuff.
I mean, it's just like little things like that are missing in this offense make it really hard to be successful. I mean, look at the tight end up top. Oh my, help us out. A right tackle does a good job. He gets rewarded with a completion, which is like the double sin. But I mean, there's no good options. 3rd and 11, we're behind the sticks. We have no opportunity to win down the field. Just get a completion, get to the sideline, and we'll try again next time. Next one here, 3rd and 5. If I'm going to be critical of the play calling, and we're going to be critical of the play calling on this channel, I'm also going to recognize the ones that I like. To me, this is zone, read, triple. Just how they get there is what I'm used to calling a spear or an arrow screen to your boy 88. Now, again, this doesn't get a first down, but it allows them to have a 4th and manageable, which they do get. Okay, so this is what I would want to see more from for Jordan Love. Like, this is a simple RPO. Again, if you can't block him, read him. That's not like a new football idea, but it works. So we're going to read Crosby. We're going to run this flat here, and then we're going to have the number 1 block MDM. MDM just means most dangerous man. So the free runner, or the person who's free to make this tackle, is right here. And he makes a nice play. Good for him. But we've got the opportunity to run it, okay, with some iteration of zone, to run it with the quarterback if it's there, or to throw it. That's the triple option. So when I say spread triple, we've got the dive, the quarterback run, and the pitch, just getting there different ways. And I love this as a 3rd medium call because especially in this kind of gray area where, hey, are you going to go for it on 4th? If you are, this is the type of stuff I want to see. Great horizontal stretch, nice kind of off-platform flick from Love, right on him, beautiful throw. This is the Jordan Love that I think can excel in the league. You just have to, this has to be called more for me. This can't be like a one-off or once a half call. Right on cue, touchdown run. Same exact play, except now we're running it to the bottom. Spread triple, read Crosby. He can't do it. But this is what Jordan Love brings to the table that Green Bay probably hasn't seen as far as he's got the ability to run it here. You can see him
Again, I'm not big on him trying to run the ball. Your longevity in the NFL is not really long when you run like that. I mean, clearly running backs don't play that long for the most part unless you're Adrian Peterson. So we definitely have a difference of opinion here. I know he brings that run element. I still don't feel like he's faster than Aaron Rodgers, but I don't know like his 40 speed to be that accurate. But just watching him on the field, right, he might run a 40 very, very fast. But when I watch him run on the field, and I remember watching Aaron run on the field, I still feel like Aaron was faster in his prime. But we already know that story, right? When you run the ball, you can get hurt. I'm not big on this. And then again, I do think this is another Matt LaFleur call out that, like, bro, we need to run the ball more. How many games have we lost where we hear Matt LaFleur saying we should have run the ball more? Why haven't you learned from your mistakes? This is retarded. Like, it makes absolutely no sense. We keep having the same discussion. At some point, you just got to run the ball more. And then here's what makes me mad. His play calling on running the ball is just so ridiculous. Just when you have a fast guy, get to the outside. Be creative with his runs. Some of his runs feel like he's just trying to run the ball just to fill the stat sheet. Like, hey guys, I really want to throw the ball, but we're going to make it really obvious that we're about to run the ball right now and just say we got the ball in his hand a couple times so I can get out there and throw it again. It's like, bro, run the ball to get yards. Don't run the ball to say I ran it for 20 times. I ran it 30 times. I gave Aaron Jones touched it and A.J. Dillon touched it X amount of times. It's like run the ball to gain yards. Don't run the ball to fill a stat sheet. That's the vibe that I get from Matt LaFleur when he calls plays, because sometimes his run play seems so Mr. Captain Obvious that if I'm seeing that, we know the defense is seeing that.
Take off and run this thing if you were to keep it. Get downhill. So you've got the triple element of dive, quarterback, pitch. We've already shown that we can do this play. We called it on third down. Now we're calling it inside the 10. And I think it's just a great thing that they need to do more of. So can't block him, read him. Here's the pitch, right? Here's the zone where you actually get the touchdown run. We got the quarterback potentially to be able to run it as well. So it's kind of 1, 2, 3. And it just puts significant stress on the defense. And you don't have to block their best player. Like, this is not rocket science. Nice job, Green Bay. Nice touchdown run. Excellent execution from Love. We've seen him work the pitch. We've seen him work the dive. Just a really nice job. Look at those double teams up front. 2 double teams. Inside zone. Set it, get vertical. Drive your feet, touchdown, let's go. Next one here, 3rd and 4. Okay, now, if you're listening to this in like a public space where other people can hear your audio, this is where you want to go earmuffs. Okay, just hit mute. I'll give you a second. Okay, this is earmuff situation. This is sprint left option. This play is not fucking good enough anymore in the league. Don't want to see it from a static formation ever again.
You're being called out, Matt LaFleur. You're being called out. I'm just saying.
Yet we'll see it all the time. It's so bad on so many fucking levels. I'm about to come out of my skin and pull a James Franklin here with this thing. This is just disgusting. Not only is it a terrible concept, but it's executed poorly. It's designed poorly. No one wins, and you've only got 2 options on 3rd and 4 with half the field. Now, the only good thing is that you're putting like 4 dudes on Crosby. But besides for that, this is a dumpster fire and a white flag for me from whoever's calling the plays. And I thought LaFleur was in his bag early in the season. This is not.
Who's ever calling the play? I know he mentioned LaFleur again. Bro, he's calling your play a dumpster fire. A dumpster fire. And he said, we've been seeing this all over, and don't ever call this play again. Damning words from a professional. Not me. I'm just another cheesehead.
Not it. Okay, so what is sprint left option? As I lose my mind, it is a flat, and right here it's going to be a whip on the back. So you come in and then you come out. Think Dwight Clark, the catch. If you don't know what I'm talking about, do yourself a favor and Google it. The read here is 1 to 2 to the back pylon. And then the other part about this play, which is actually my favorite part of this play, is the number 3 here is he doesn't get it. He turns up, and then he's at the front pylon for 3. Okay, so this is the play. It was good in 1981. It's not good enough anymore. If you have to run this play, at least motion or stack the receivers or try to get a rub. Okay, that would be how I would suggest it. The other thing here is that if you're going to run this here, you got to get your feet in the end zone. You can't run this at the 2 on 3rd and 4. Even if you caught it, it wouldn't be a first down. The other thing here is when we get up to the back line, you have to know they're going to try to push you out. So this corner right here is going to get into this cat and bench press him out of bounds. Well, besides for being illegal contact downfield, they're going to do that all the time. The ref's right there. He's looking at it. I don't know why he throws his hat as opposed to his hat and his flag for illegal contact. But, I mean, this is not.
So you're seeing a combination of a lot of things here. Bad play calling and the receivers don't know what they're doing. So, to me, Matt LaFleur makes that comment in the press conference that, like, the guys, it doesn't matter how big the playbook is, and you have these audibles and all this extra nonsense, and if they're not executing, then it doesn't really do you any good. Well, maybe because you're doing stupid plays on the field, Matt LaFleur. Maybe because you're drawing up retarded plays. Look at this. You have a ex-NFL QB calling you out from the QB school, telling you that this play is effing ridiculous. His words, not mine. He dropped the F-bomb multiple times on you. So if another QB is telling you this play is ridiculous, he don't even play anymore. He talked about how this play was good in like 1981. But we in 2023. What are you doing, Matt? Is it really the fact that the players can't comprehend your playbook? Or is it your scheme is just ridiculous? Dumb it down. Allow the players to be able to comprehend what you're doing. Build on the scheme. To me, to be a great head coach, you probably need to be a great teacher. I mean, we watched that TV show that's on like HBO Max or Showtime where they go through and they go behind the scenes and they show you really playing in the NFL is like playing, it's like being a teacher in school. Except for you're not teaching mathematics, you're teaching schemes and plays and how to handle your position. And this tells me Matt LaFleur, he might be smart. He might be good enough to be an analyst. He might be good enough to be on college football Saturday mornings and he can look at plays and understand them. But can he teach them to grown men? The vibe I'm getting is no. This is damning coming from him. This is not good. Not good at all.
Not a ref video. This place sucks. Look at it. What do you want Jordan Love to do? The flat is blanketed. It's also a basically no yard flat. He runs that at the line of scrimmage. Look at the route, the whip up top. Watch him get pushed out of bounds. That's a flag, dog. That's illegal contact past 5 yards. The ref sees it. Watch the ref on the left corner of the end zone. He throws his hat for a guy out of bounds, but you're not allowed to bench press people 15 yards downfield. No good options. Now you can see the third option. He tries to get to that front pylon at the bottom, but Jordan Love doesn't help himself because he kind of continues to push this thing, stay on the run, runs into the edge, and has to throw it away. The throwaway is the best part. It's a disaster. The play is terrible. If you call plays, throw it out. I don't want to see it in the plan. Don't bring it around me. It reeks. Halftime. You dig the channel and you haven't already, please.
Wow. So I say we stop it right there. We can do a part 2. That's the first half. My goodness. Very, very damning. Coming from Mr. O'Sullivan himself. I didn't like the way we performed. He didn't like the way we performed. I thought that was really, really terrible. Man, he's being called out. Again, I've always said this. I don't believe in, I want to be very, very clear, right? Because I don't have that big of a problem with Matt LaFleur as much as I have with Brian Gutekunst. But I don't like our front office. I think that Aaron Rodgers is very, very specific with his complaints. And for me, when I hear my QB, who, when he first came into the league, he was very, very guarded. People didn't know anything about him. I kind of wish he stayed that way. That's just my own personal opinion, to keep it mysterious. But then he decided to come out to be a little more outspoken. That's fine. He has his rights, but he brought a lot of shine. He brought a lot of criticism to us that I think, didn't help us. I like playing under the radar. I like not having a big target on our back. But it's just unfortunate that Aaron Rodgers was there to help Matt LaFleur to look so good. And when Aaron Rodgers brought that target on his back and then started having the issues between Brian Gutekunst and himself, it didn't really help our situation. But if our QB is complaining about how other players were treated as they left the league or they left our team, and how our front office, who, again, we're the Green Bay Packers, we're from the Midwest. People from the Midwest shouldn't be jerks, at least in my opinion. I'm sure there's a lot of them. But it does boggle my mind when you think of the Green Bay Packers and then you see the way our organization is trying to treat the players like they're in New York. It's like, bro, Green Bay is not in New York City. Green Bay is not in Los Angeles, California. Green Bay is in Wisconsin. And, besides the Packers and the cheese and the lovely fans, there's nothing out there. So, players aren't going to want to go out there unless they have a great team or a great quarterback there to play with. And even so, I would think that the biggest incentive Green Bay should have is money. Green Bay should be pouring out the cash to players. Like, hey, you can come to play during the football season, but after you're done, you can go live in Malibu, or you can go live in New Jersey. You can go live in Texas or live in Florida and have a good time. But when it's time to play football, you're up in Green Bay. So to hear stuff like that, to me, number one culprit is Brian Gutekunst. I think he's added too much. I've heard from him too much. You normally, in my opinion, don't hear that much from general managers, and you hear a lot from him. And then you got to go to the coaching staff. You have to start at the top. Matt LaFleur, Joe Barry, they just haven't done enough to be sufficient on the field. And to me, you're seeing it. And to me, when you're a head coach and you come out and you try to preface, hey guys, let's set the expectations right. Oh my goodness, what are you saying? Like, you get paid, bro. You're not Bill Belichick, right? And it's funny how people are questioning Bill Belichick. Like, he's 70-something years old. Football isn't. I mean, bro, he just won the Super Bowl like a few years ago. What was it, like 2017, 16, maybe 18? I mean, I don't want to go look it up, but you know what? We are gonna look it up. Like, he didn't win the Super Bowl like 20 years ago. Let's see, Patriots Super Bowls. Let's check this out. Yeah, 2018. So it's not that far ago. That's what, 5 years ago? So, I mean, guys, stop it. He's 5 years ago, he was in the Super Bowl. He lost Tom Brady. He got Mac Jones. It's just, winning Super Bowls is not easy. So, oh my goodness. Coaching's not easy, but I don't know what Matt LaFleur is doing, and it clearly isn't enough. So, anyway, I'm going to end it right there, because if I keep going, the podcast will go on for hours and hours and hours, and I'd rather not do that. We can do this. We may come back and check out the second half of analysis, but it doesn't get any better. We know it doesn't get any better. I just wanted to let you guys know I'm not biased. And for the most part, I agree with Mr. O'Sullivan. I'm going to check out the second half myself, probably personally, and then we can do more podcasts like this. But, hey, if you, again, are watching me on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe. If you're watching me on Twitch, hit me up with a follow. And as always, if you don't know the Lord Jesus Christ, you should get to know him. It will be the best decision you ever make in your life. Look up the salvation prayer and ask Jesus to come into your life. It will be the best decision you'll ever make. I'm the Lemesis, your nemesis, but you can call me Lem. Peace, love, and hap. I hope you people have a wonderful day. God bless.